Greetings and welcome back to Old Ways Rising Farm. We're talking today some more about sinew, that extremely useful and extremely overlooked material that's often a waste product of butchering operations. Previously on the channel, I had prepared some bovine leg sinew with you and used it for a wrap on this crooked knife, this carving tool. But the leg sinew, while it's a really nice big chunk of sinew, it's not the best for sewing or for making really strong, long ropes such as a bowstring. The really good stuff for that is this backstrap sinew. This is nice, it's thin, you can just tear it into threads directly. Tear nice long straight threads for sewing or for twisting rope out of. And this is a video of opportunity. I've been helping my family butcher a deer today, so I'm going to show you how to properly extract and prepare this backstrap sinew for your projects. So, this is a loin strip from the deer. The narrow end here, this is where it tapers off into the neck, and this goes a fairly long ways up the neck. This is along the back, and this cut here is where it attaches to the rear hip bone and where it goes in down there. This piece across the top, this is that sinew. A lot of people call this silver skin because of its kind of silvery color. And this is what we want for that backstrap sinew. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a fillet knife. This is just like taking the skin off of a fish. Okay. So we're going to come in, start at the fat section, run the fillet knife along that sinew piece, okay? Get down as close as you can because we want to save as much meat as we can. Up above it right there. Okay. And then, just like filleting a fish, we're going to go right along it. We missed a little bit and got too high there. Okay. There we go. So, this is unfortunate. I don't like that I left that much meat on, but most of this deer I know my parents want to grind for burger, so that'll all go in the burger pot. That's good meat. It's not going to be wasted. This is your nice backstrap if you're going to cut little medallion steaks out of it. We will set that aside. That is food. And we now need to finish cleaning up this little piece of sinew. So, beloved, could you hand me a butter knife? I forgot to grab one out. Okay, thank you. This is your best tool for doing this. If you hold the sinew against your cutting board, and you just take a butter knife, and it will just scrape off cleanly and quickly. Now, the cleaner you get it, the better. Because there's less work to do at this stage. Okay, go in there. And this is a little easier to do standing up than sitting down. But if I stand up, you won't see it on the camera. There we go. A little bit from this side. Sticking to everything. I'm just gonna weten it a little bit here so it's easier to work with. It's a lot like fleshing a hide. You just want to scrape off all those little bits of meat. See, this piece is fairly thin. It's a fairly small deer. And it's already kind of shredding into fibers down there. That's fine. Those are what end up being your sewing threads. You just scrape her clean. Okay. We'll scrape the rest of this the other way. This little pocket here is usually the hardest spot to get scraped clean. And take the tip of the butter knife and dig it in there, scrape through there. Leave every last little scrap of that delicious meat. Big enough for cooking, you can cook, and what's not can go in the hamburger pot. All of that will be saved. And then flip it over and just scrape clean some of the membrane on the other side. This doesn't have much. I had it pretty clean beforehand. And then when you're all done, and I'll do a little bit more scraping on this off camera, but you can see where we're going with that. When you're all done, I like to soak it in some cold water for a couple of hours. That gets the last little bit of the blood and the coloration out of it. And then when it's done soaking, you can just wring the water off it and set it out on a rack of your choosing to dry. If you have these on a rack up, they'll dry in a day. If you have them against a hard surface like a cutting board, one side will dry and you'll need to turn it every few hours. That's totally legitimate. You can do it that way. What you don't want to do is leave it on a solid surface and not turn it every couple hours. It will go rancid on you and you'll lose your piece. But that is the basic process for preparing this backstrap sinew. And you can see how long you can get really, really nice sewing threads out of that. Mm-hmm. So I hope that you will use every part of your animals when you're butchering. And I will see you next time here at Old Ways Rising Farm.